Everyone, welcome to the next round of Toby's Wine Drop. A fly on the wall opportunity for you guys just to follow along with day-to-day life here at Naked, here to taste what's arrived over the last week or so. I'm joined by Amos.
Hello.
Say hi, Amos. Good.
I'm Amos.
Amos, tell everyone what you do.
So I work in the marketing team at Naked. So I write about all of the lovely wines that you're sipping every day, week, month of the year. Hopefully you feel like I do a good job.
Well, we'll see. People love the emails, I'm sure, Amos, right? Good. Okay. So what we're going to do, we'll get stuck in. I've got some various treats that I've actually put aside just for this tasting today to make sure that the content's good. So we've got our new Villebois non-alcoholic 0.0 wines to have a look at, which I know Amos is
very excited
about.
Yeah, really excited about
Amos, you want to hold them up to camera just so everyone can have a look-see?
Sure thing. Sparkling rosé, 0%. Sauvignon Blanc, 0%.
So we've got those two today. Those of you who've purchased or seen the campaign will know there's a Pinot Noir 0.0 as well. That's just a slightly delayed in production, so that'll be here next week, unfortunately. Yeah, right, well, we need to open them.
Yeah.
No pressure. I'll do the screw cap.
You are going to judge me strongly
Absolutely.
for my, the pop on my spine, I'm sure.
So it should just, when you're opening fizz, just go tss. Amos.
And you hold the cork and twist the bottom of the bottle, don't you, Toby?
There you go, well done.
Oh,
Well, no, not so good. Pour. Okay, so not those yet. We'll just pour you the white.
okay.
So for some context, we've been tasting these wines on and off with Just and Miguela for about 12 months. So I first tasted a year ago, and we've just been trying to just fine tune it. For me, for a non-alcoholic wine, first and foremost, it must taste like wine. And we've been working hard to get that to an acceptable point where I think it's good enough for us, and here we are. So this is your first. So this is your first thing. So the main thing that my bugbear, let's say, with non-alcoholic products is they smell kind of like tea.
Yeah.
And which some people like, and I think is perfectly pleasant. But really, we want a wine here. So Sauvignon Blanc is the grape type. Sauvignon Blanc should be. Come on.
Zesty, fruity, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Be aromatic.
WSET studier. Yeah, exactly. So you want bright, you want grapefruit, you want passion fruit, grassiness. Yeah. Certainly all there.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of, it matches up with the style that we're used to with Villebois.
Yeah.
Yes, and you mentioned like the process, like how did what was the process? Like how much back and forth was there?
We don't want to get what as in
with
the dealcoholization process?
Like
So I won't be too boring here because we don't want to lose people off the live, but it's made with a process called vacuum distillation. So distillation normally would be boiling a liquid, it evaporates, you condense it, you get a product that's common in spirit production. With wine, you want to preserve the delicate nature of the product. So if you put the wine under vacuum, it boils at a much lower rate, lower temperature, preserving the freshness. And you evaporate off the alcohol, and then what you're left with is from the wine, that is, from the Sauvignon Blanc. So hopefully, it only goes to about 35 or 38 degrees, which is a sort of cold bath.
Nice. Yeah.
No, a bit more than that, maybe. I don't know. Anyway.
You're left with all the nice bits.
Yeah, exactly.
Minus the alcohol. Basically.
Exactly, yeah. Good.
Juicy.
Yeah. Good acidity.
Happy, lovely on it. Spring, like first spring day. Like first sunny spring day of the year, I think.
That's really good. I'm really pleased with that. That is going to
You placed your
be
pre-order,
massively
Toby?
popular.
Are you going to be enjoying
Of course. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
mean, I've got a million of them sitting down here, but... Oh, sorry, Amos. You can pour yourself.
Right, I can sort myself out.
Okay, so that was very good. That was Sauvignon in character, which is what you want it to be. 0.0 alcohol, perfect. Just what we want. Great. So this should be a bit fruitier from when we tasted it pre-bottling. It's quite close, actually. So sometimes after bottling, a wine can be a little bit tight. It just needs time to settle down and open up. And I think this is what that's showing. So that'll be my feedback to you.
I definitely get some nice red fruits.
It's not as giving as that.
No.
But yeah, red berries.
They're like strawberries, isn't it?
Yeah,
quite
definitely.
clear. Strawberries. For me.
I'll put it in, Amos.
Get it in your tasting tracker.
Yeah, there you go. So if anyone cares, this is the 1300th wine I've tasted this financial year. 1300 sample, sorry. Okay. So, what do you think?
It's convincing. Lots of lovely bubbles on that.
Yeah.
The bubbles really help as well with like a low alcohol wine as well, because they replace the body that is maybe often lost with the alcohol, don't they?
Certainly, yeah. Just gives it a bit of life, basically, which
absolutely.
is what you want it to be. Good. And the lovely fruitiness from the nose carries through. So a good sign of quality is if it tastes like it smells. And that is exactly that.
Yeah.
The bubbles are there, not too heavy, not too light. They're kind of right in the middle. Brilliant.
Love that.
I was told by our Dom behind the camera, don't make much noise. We're throwing things on the table.
Right.
Sorry.
I'm normally a bad one for swirling my wine glass on the table.
Just don't slosh it. Well, you can slosh it all over yourself. That's all right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So I'm going to approve those. We will let Justin Miguel know and we'll get it picked up.
I'm going to be telling everyone in the office to try these.
Yeah,
as well,
lots of people in the office are excited that these are open today. So not that you can see them off camera, they're not actually there, but they will all want to taste it. So that'll be fun.
It's very fun. One of my closest teammates, he's doesn't drink wine.
Oh, Roger.
So
Roger, the email man.
Roger the Dodger.
Yeah.
And, this was, I think, one of his first actual Naked Wines orders was pre-ordering these
go.
wines. He'd finally get something which he could drink.
Good old Rog. Right. As I hunt through my fridge.
So what have we got here?
So yeah, what we're looking at now is
Are they sort of tasting samples, like in the process of
so this is from Antonio Fattori in the Veneto, northern Italy.
Very good.
They are pre-bottling samples of the white wines from Fattori. So we've got 4. I don't need to line them up in front of the camera necessarily, but because these are just the generic labels they put on them. But we've got 4 wines here: Sauvignon Blanc, a Lugana, which is from near Lake Garda in northern Italy. We've got Sauvignon Blanc and a Soave, I believe. Amos, do you remember what grape types in Soave from your WSET studies?
God, is it Cortese?
No.
No, Garganega? Is that it's only one?
Garganega's right.
Garganega.
Cortese's Garvey.
Got it on the second go.
Yeah, that's just to have a think myself there. Right. Okay, so what we'll do generally when we flight it, we'll go with the least complex to the most. So logic would say we've got Pinot Grigio.
PG.
Yeah.
PG. Do you drink much PG?
I drink this PG.
Yeah.
Because it's, well, for me, I just think the winemaking here really makes it sing.
Oh, lovely.
They tend to be a bit more aromatic than some of the other ones.
Yeah, get so many apples off that, like immediately hit with tons of apples and pears.
Apples and pears.
It's that orchard fruit. That's a bit of
That's an email line, isn't it?
Orchard. Yeah. Like walking through an apple orchard.
Oh dear. No thanks.
Too flowery. Yeah.
Orchid. No.
Orchid.
Orchid fruit. Okay. So, yeah, Pinot Grigio, we don't want it to be too expensive on the other side of the coin. You know, the idea is that it's just lovely and light and refreshing.
Easy drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. From Rita, it's basically literally.
Yeah, orchard fruit. I get a bit of peach, like white peach. Like, you know those donut peaches. I'm not sure what you call them. Flat peaches.
Yeah, I know the ones. Yeah. This would be like my fish and chips wine for me, to be honest. Like sort of like simple kind of, well, like we always want a white wine with fish and chips because you feel like it's
funny people off camera waving. Good. Yeah.
Is that Will?
Neil. Yeah. Yes. Sorry, Amos.
Yeah. No. So it's kind of just grab and go, like satisfying white wine to have with sort of nice Friday.
So my fish and chips wine, it's mine and my wife's wedding anniversary treat is bottle of champagne and fish and chips.
Fancy tastes.
Well, like fish and chips is very oily.
Yeah.
And the champagne and the bubbles, high acidity, and the bubbles cut through the fish and chips and leaves you wanting more.
And if you don't want to be opening a bottle of champagne every time you have Friday fish and chips,
bottle of Pinot Grigio.
Maybe a bottle of Cremant or Pinot Grigio.
Okay. What do you think?
It's crisp, clean. Got that nice fruit. Yeah, easy drinking white wine. It's nice fruit.
Yeah, it's a little tighter.
Yeah.
It'll be the nature of the tank sample, I imagine. Sometimes,
do you think it would get rounder as well as it warms up potentially? In the glass,
yeah, maybe. But you want to have it chilled. The fridge is at 9 degrees.
Right.
So, yes, it would do. And then when it's a tank sample like this, it's sometimes hasn't got the final polish. It's a little bit raw.
Yeah.
But that's okay. You can see the style.
Nothing major to feedback.
Just that it's well made, well balanced. Oh, hey. This is the Matt Smith.
The Matt Smith and the Paolo Sacchetto. Wow.
So Matt, luckily, is with Paolo in Northern Italy right now while we all do some work. Back here, Matt's on holiday, supposedly working.
Joined by some of our illustrious colleagues as well.
Okay. Key with Pinot Grigio is the acidity doesn't need to be too high. So if it's too high, it'll strip the wine out and the experience won't be as good.
Yeah.
So it's lower but not low. And that gives you the width and the texture.
And that acidity often means like you would maybe drink it in the first few years as well.
Yeah, definitely. Pinot Grigio you should drink before the next Pinot Grigio.
The next vintage comes out,
definitely. Yeah, absolutely. This style anyway. Yeah. That's what it's meant for. I will say this feels a little different to the previous vintage.
How so?
The previous vintage was more expressive, brighter. I think they did some winemaking tricks. I think maybe, well, I don't know. It could be the reflection of the vintage, but this is just a little gentler. Yeah. Which again, it's a natural product. That's what happens.
Would you like me to open?
Oh, thank you.
This one over here. Or we're going to the Sauvignon.
Sauvignon we should probably do last because that'll be the most expressive.
Okay. So
let's do why not? Lugano. Now, Amos, you get to show your wine opening skills again. Look at you.
I am a waiter's friend.
Don't think we've got any more white.
Want to give a shout out to any of the things you were tasting yesterday as well?
Oh, wow. All right.
We came in and tasted a few of us in the office yesterday and we loved the Santolins.
Yeah, so we tasted a few new arrivals. If you watched last week, we had a few of the new arrivals into the warehouse that we just give the final approval to. Yesterday we had a couple of wines from the Santolins. We had the A&R Chardonnay and the Santolin family Chardonnay. So A&R is their mid-tier level Chardonnay, like lovely, bright and expressive, like the kind of Chardonnay that everyone will enjoy. A far cry from the bad reputation Chardonnay has. And then the Family Reserve, their top one, you were enthusing about it this morning.
Oh, it's beautiful, so complex.
Yeah. So it's lighter, more elegant, but in a contradictory kind of way, bigger, more complex, lots of different flavors.
It's like, because I'm not normally a huge fan of oak aged whites, but I felt like it was a really, it was because it was a premium example, let's say. It just showed how well it could be, it could work with the fruit. Like everything was just really nicely balanced. So you had like the peachy apricot stuff, but then you also had like the oaky sort of toasty characteristics, but then you also had like a bit of the aging as well, so it was like almost a little bit savoury, herby as well. It was just like everything was kind of working really well. Classy, yeah.
And
classy
you know,
wine.
money well spent, did you? Well done. Right, let's carry on. So Lugana, so we're Lake Garda, just the southern tip of Lake Garda. The grape's called Trebbiano, which you'd never know. But yeah, should be more stone fruity here. I get apricots and peaches and that kind of thing.
Yeah, tons of apricots and peaches.
Honeysuckle.
That blossom sort of stuff.
You know, when you're walking in the garden when the sun's shining and you get that lovely floral nature coming out. Yeah, in the springtime. You'll always get some sort of citrus on white wine. You know, if you're doing your WSET, white wine, right lemon every single time. Yeah. But sweet citrus, I'd say here. Like agrume. Do you know what agrume is?
Agrume? No, is it?
It's a mixed citrus. If you go to France, you get the Schweppes agrume.
It's
my favourite drink.
I remember you telling me.
It's my holiday drink. Yeah. So I think it's a mix of lime, grapefruit, mandarin, and lemon, something like that.
It's like the fruit salad of citrus, basically.
Oh, there you go. Famous. You should work in copywriting.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, love that. When are you drinking that wine as opposed to the Pinot Grigio?
This is probably stand some food a little more.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a bit of a foodie one.
It's got a bit of creaminess in there, so that's the I don't want to be too geeky, but malolactic creaminess coming through, just a touch. This is more sort of a nice textural wine. Kind of one makes you think. Okay, good. Happy to approve that.
Very nice.
Next.
Sauvignon?
No, let's do Soave.
Okay.
It's a very deceptive looking bottle.
I was going to say, very deceptive bottle. It's kind of one.
So it's just very traditional Soave generally. There's this sort of look, but with the red top and the darker bottle is fairly common.
Is that like the rules?
I've just seen, maybe it's not, I don't know, but I've seen quite a few Soaves that look a little.
I guess a lot of Italian winemakers do.
Well, it's there's a lot of tradition. Lots of Italians are very proud of heritage. So, what's the vintage?
2023.
Yeah. So this is a year older than these other ones, and you can smell it.
Yeah.
It's got that sort of oiliness, kind of akin to Riesling. When you get an older Riesling, it gets that kerosene profile.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
Still a tank something. Good hands. Okay, so you get that herbal kerosene in a good way, like woody herbs like rosemary, thyme.
That's a bit of a thinking white wine, isn't it?
Certainly. What about fruit?
Yeah.
It's harder.
Oh, it's harder.
Lemon, lime.
It kind of, it's
a bit pithy.
It's that citrusy fruit, but then there's also like it's kind of like the unripe version of the more tropical fruit. So it's
pithy might be, or like a green mango.
Yeah, like a green mango, exactly, like unripe mango or something like that. Sort of like very, very fresh, more tart, which is again.
I might put that in this. I'll put that in.
Oh. Maybe I'm training for your job.
Okay. Palate's different. Not different, but sorry, that makes it sound like it's not good. It's brighter. It's got lift. It's still got youth about it.
So would you? Is this a white wine be more likely to age? You think for a few more years?
It's certainly benefiting from age because it's got some of that tertiary. So all the bright primary juiciness has evolved into other things like the oiliness. I've written something like apple skin here. Just the extra complexity.
Which would be like, so when you say things like You could say apples, but you say apple skin. Where does that sort of come from? What does apple skin mean to you?
Well, apple skin has got a touch of bitterness, touch of complexity to it.
Okay.
Which, a bit of tannin even.
Yeah.
That's phenolics if we want to talk wine parlance.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I think is coming out.
Yeah.
For
Easy
this.
there with wine parlance.
Yeah. All right. Sorry.
No, but it's interesting though, because as you've mentioned, there's a few of us doing our WSET studies at the moment, and part of that is sort of identifying those very distinct characteristics, and I feel like I'm getting to grips with tasting, with smelling things like fresh apples versus stewed apples, for instance.
Yeah.
But like when you're talking about stuff like apple skin, it's just interesting.
I don't think you'd necessarily get that level of detail in WSET, not level 3 anyway. There's something has just jumped out at me from this is almonds, like white almonds, because it's very distinct on that. Like almonds that aren't salted or anything, just blanched. But here, like with this wine, we've got a lot more complexity. It's not just a primary wine. 2020, the first two are 24 vintage. This is 23. So you've got the primary and you've got the evolution coming through with it. There's no oak, but it's or no oak influence anyway, and just interesting.
Just more complexity. Right?
Yeah. I think it's yummy.
Nice. Very good.
Okay. Just need to make sure I'm still writing notes for the feedback to all our winemakers. Right, Sauvignon Blanc. So Sauvignon Blanc from Italy, which we'll all know Sauvignon Blanc from parts
Might
of
be a new one for some people.
the Loire, like this, or from New Zealand or wherever, but not so famous from Italy. But honestly, I think it's fantastic.
Is it often mixed in? Is it mixed in with Italian white blends often somewhere?
Probably.
But you're on the spot there.
Well, it's an aromatic grape variety, so it's going to have
A
the
lot
high
of
notes.
winemakers all over the place will like to use it.
It could be a little bit of seasoning, definitely. Why not? I think the Sauvignon, the Pinot Grigio last year, for example, I think had a bit of Sauvignon.
Right. Okay.
Potentially, or influence, just because it had this lift. So.
Yeah, I mean, immediately expressive Sauvignon. I mean, this actually is. It's funny because the aromatics it's similar to the Villebois 0%, which I think is a credit to the Villebois 0% Sauvignon. It's like
we're a different country here.
Yeah, it's a different country, but it's that Sauvignon characteristic of the zesty, like kind of gooseberry sort of like sort of tropical.
There you go.
You can compare it. 1 to 1. Yeah, there's a slight difference, but it's
there will be.
Pretty. I think it matches up pretty well.
Yeah,
I think.
It's interesting. So this has all the classic hallmarks that you want. I get that passion fruit and grapefruit, cut grass. Smells like sunshine.
Yeah. Sauvignon's my go-to white. I think that would
I think a lot of people would say that.
Yeah.
It's certainly, and a lot of people find it's the first grape variety that they get.
Yeah.
Not addicted to, it's the wrong word, but, they really follow.
Yeah. Well, certainly nowadays, I mean, it used to be Pinot Grigio as well, didn't it? Maybe it'll be Chardonnay next. Although ABCs want to hear that.
Let's not.
Porcelain. If you pardon the pun.
Yeah. It's graceful. Okay, so that follows on. The palate's got brightness, juiciness, some texture. Great.
Nice.
I wish all approvals were as easy as that. Okay, so we've got two reds, particularly exciting that people will be. Yes.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have this one first. So this is a new wine we're looking at from Denis Crespo, which is Côte du Rhône, so southern France here, Grenache Shiraz blending, but this is sans soufre, so without sulfur, which is, thank you, something that is requested a lot into the emails in the call center and wherever. So we thought it was about time, and we've been looking at this from Denny again for a little while, and the time is right. So here we've just got a sample from the tank to ensure that it's all good, and then we'll approve bottling and hopefully be on the website.
I love Dennis Crespo's wines.
Oh, they're great, yep.
If I could only drink one style of wine, it would be Rome.
Yeah, me too, I
Rome
think.
Reds.
Yeah, and a lovely story down there. You know, there's a cooperative, but it supports 60 local families, all of whom are fully invested in Denny and his skills.
Yeah, I mean, he's the king down there, basically, isn't he?
Yeah. Okay, so without sulfur means the wine's shelf life is going to be shorter than anything else, but there won't be those telltale sulfites which people have allergies to and cause headaches and things like that. So the idea here is we'll get this wine in. When's the campaign?
I think we're planning to launch it with a pre-order in maybe about a month or so.
Yeah.
I think so. You'll get the chance to pre-order it, especially if you opted in with the original email, and then it'll be landing then in a few months after that, maybe. Yeah. Sort of later spring, early summer.
Perfect. And the idea is that you have it and drink it over the course of the summer, into the autumn, and then it's not one to keep; it's to one to drink youthful. To keep its youthful nature, because there's no sulfur, which is the preservative. You know, it best drunk young, basically.
Yeah. That's some lovely, yummy fruit.
Cherry, so it's a fleshy fruit, I get.
Yeah.
So red and black cherries, red and black plums.
Yeah. It's like you often say, it's like the juiciest cherry. It's like when something's, when you get a cherry that's just sort of perfectly ripe, picked off a tree, and it's sort of just like bursts.
Yeah, that's it.
Isn't it? I get that little bit of, do I get like a bit of pepperiness as well? Is that, I mean, I might expect it in a...
I mean, you could, there'll be some, because Shiraz will have that. Yeah, bit of spice punch. Perhaps it certainly won't be, if it was Northern Rhone, that would be at the 4, whereas this would be just, again, as it is, a seasoning. But there's some sort of, if you think down there in that part of the world, there's lots of wild herbs growing, which tend to sort of come out in the wines. The garrigue, if you like, which is what's coming through there.
Yeah, when the French talk about garrigue, it's like that savoury.
Yeah, it's like funbost in South Africa.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm talking about.
And it's nice because it makes, I think, because it sort of tempers the fruit a little bit, so you still get that lovely rich fruit, but it's sort of, again, balance. Wine's all about balance, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm here to assess for, really. Yeah. So it's crunchy fruit, juicy fruit, good acidity. And then, I mean, again, you can just feel it tastes like summer pudding. Lots of lovely sweet white berries.
And it coats the mouth as well, at the moment as well.
Yeah.
I feel that sort of lingers as well.
Yeah.
Still there.
So so that's exactly where we want it to be. Without sulfur, that's the kind of profile that will not last us perhaps as long as it might, but we'll keep, we'll buy it, get it in and out, and drink it young.
Nice.
Fab. I think that's really good.
Okay. Would you like me to open Larasto?
Yes. Why not? Yes. I mean, we won't actually go to it. We're going to have this next, which some people might be excited. Am I in shot there, boss? So this is the new vintage of Reenen Borman's Epilogue. So from South Africa, 100% Syrah, and a cult wine that we're very proud to have. Reenen and this wine in our stable.
I'll let you take that one.
No scraping the bottle, sorry. I just got told off again by the boss behind the camera. So I don't know what to do. We should let's have Rasto. Names. You can pour it.
Yeah. So why would you be umming and ahhing?
Because this will probably be a bit lighter. And this is a bit heavier, but then we've got the winemaking ladder here. You know, we've got the premium bottle version of what we've just tasted, essentially. So we should really stay with that.
Maybe if we have a bit of Rasto and then take a swig of water just to cleanse our...
if you want to. Do you have some water, Amos? Oh, you did. Well done.
I'm prepared.
Okay.
I'm prepared for tasting.
So Rasto is one of the small villages of the Southern Rhone. I heard a sommelier describe Rasto as rustic once. So I said to you about Garrigue before. That should come through. But so what we should find here versus this one is more intensity, more complexity, higher quality of grapes, which gives definition, power, some oak aging.
Yeah. I mean, it just smells dark. And
so I'm just going to write dark and brooding.
Brooding is the other word that came to mind.
Yeah. So it doesn't necessarily have, this is a cherry, this is a plum, so on at the moment. It's more just like a smorgasbord of dark fruit.
Smorgasbord.
Yeah,
Right.
God, that's awful. I'm being laughed at. Thanks, yeah. Thanks, Don. But it's still, I mean, there's probably too many
There's
to
a lot.
list.
There's a lot of wine in there, basically.
So you should be looking for what else? Not just berry fruit. What else? If it's a high quality wine, it's 2022 vintage barrel aging.
Oak aging. So
yeah,
clove. That's something I always think when it comes to oak. Spice.
Cloves, spice, cedar, cigar box.
Almost like charred wood.
Nice. Yeah.
That's something which comes up a lot in our tastings.
Yeah, toastiness. And then with being 2022, you should get some positive evolution. So something like, I get like black olive,
yeah,
tapenade, that kind of thing.
That's a very savoury aspect, isn't it?
Yeah. Forest floor.
The fruit is also more, I guess it gets more towards the jammy end of the spectrum as well, doesn't it?
Careful.
And concentrated.
Yeah, concentrated is better. Yeah. Jammy would imply sugariness, which it's not.
Right.
This is, definition and power. But once you taste it, plenty of youthfulness in there. So it's bright.
Oh, yeah.
Again, I've used the word crunchy quite a lot. You can just sort of feel the texture of the fruit.
Yeah.
It's good. Dark though, whereas that wasn't so much.
Got Easter coming up. That feels like it's screaming out for being the roast lamb kind of wine, doesn't it, for me?
Yeah. I'm not sure we'll have it here for Easter.
No?
Oh, it's just a tank sample. Sorry, Amos.
I might have a couple of bottles still in my wine rack.
But anything Rhone, that stuff, I mean, it's good for entertaining.
I mean, I've got some of Dennis Crespo's wines are like my house wines, as it were, the kind of wines that I always want to have in my wine rack. Basically.
Absolutely, as you should. Okay, I don't think there's any feedback necessarily that's negative there.
Right on the money.
The peppery notes that you mentioned come on the finish, and savoury. Wow. Okay, great.
Good job.
Well done, Denny.
Well done, Dennis.
Okay, Epilogue.
Exciting times.
Gosh, you are excited.
I mean, this is probably it's the most prestigious wine.
Yeah, 100 points.
that we have,
Yeah. Very proud to have this one with us.
You could make the solid argument that this is the best wine that comes out of South Africa.
Careful.
You could make the solid argument. That's all I'm saying.
Careful. Okay, so actually, Reenen emailed me. Just reading what he said because it's just been bottled, I believe. Yeah, so he would basically wanted to just to flag that this is just bottled, so tight. 2023 still very youthful.
Okay.
So not. I mean, these kind of wines aren't ever going to be. If you buy Epilogue, you should buy it, keep it. It's not to be drunk now.
Right.
So Syrah and Shiraz, same thing. I mean, again, if you want to know what peppery is, that's peppery. Red fruited as well.
So that will evolve over time. So it starts with a bit of red fruit and pepper, but as it comes, some of the stuff that you were talking about more with Rasteau, like the forest floor kind of things, will come through.
Yeah, we need time to think about that wine, to be honest. So I've written black pepper, youthful for sure. Bramble, cherry.
Yeah, a bit of the herbal.
Certainly.
As well. As you were saying, Garrigue for France, but what would you say?
Framboise, I guess
Framboise.
it would be the. I don't know how you might spell that. There you go. Good. So black pepper, youthful, bramble fruit, cherry, fynbos. I mean, fynbos is a bit much really, but I'll write woody herbs.
It's got all of that complexity while being even smelling. It's very elegant.
Yeah, I've just written pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That pepperiness.
Yeah.
Really shines through on that.
Indeed. Not everyone can taste pepperiness, as in by you genetically can or cannot. So sometimes some people can. Yeah.
Is that true?
You either have the gene or you don't.
Yeah.
And it's no fault of anyone, but if you do, that's very clear, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right there.
It's literally, it's like you've cracked black pepper onto sort of your
on your meal,
on your morning bagel or what?
Black pepper on a morning bagel.
Yeah, salmon cream cheese.
Okay.
Bagel. Food pairing recommendation.
Hello, glamorous assistant. Can you talk more about Reenen?
Talk more about Reenen.
Well, so Reenen, this wine, not this vintage. I think I forget which vintage it was. It was a few vintages ago now, but this wine won. Tim Atkin did a report, and it got 100 points from Tim, and huge acclaim just for this wine. Reenen he's one of the sort of most talented young winemakers in Stellenbosch in South Africa. And it's a family business run by his dad originally, or still there. And Reenen's have taken over, let's say, or he's taken on the main winemaking part. And honestly, one of the very fantastically talented wines. I always look forward to them coming in across the sampling journey, because they're always knockout.
Yeah, he doesn't just have the epilogue. Obviously, is the premium end of the scale, but I mean,
well, it's kind of left field.
Yeah,
like Reenen's usual. He's got a lot of lovely Cabernets, Syrahs, Pinotage. I don't think we got Pinotage. I forget now. But he's got a range of single varietals. There's a Cab Merlot, and
so it's white, the Montague. White.
Lovely Montague white. Hang on, let's finish the reds. And then he's got a fantastic wine called The Conclusion, which is again one of the original wines that really made us take notice of Reenen. So he chooses the best parcels of all of the best bit of Cabernet, the best bit of Merlot, the best bit of Syrah, and he'll blend that into his Conclusion, which is the best of all, if you like. Right. But then the Syrah is his sort of love letter to Syrah, off on the left. He does a fantastic Montague white, which is a blend of many things that I can't remember right now. Chenin Blanc, Colombard, thank you. And I actually went with Reenen out to this vineyard. It's a 4-hour drive north into the wildlands north of Stellenbosch, driving literally down dirt tracks alongside rivers. The road had to be re-cut into the mountain because the river had washed away the road one day. I remember seeing the video you showed. Yeah, and literally then you come to sort of oasis of vines that were going to be grubbed up for much more profitable almond trees, but Reenen saw the quality in the grapes and this part of the world, so it was like, please don't do this. I'll make some lovely wine from it. And the Montague and other wines that he makes from there are the result. So if you don't know South African wine, I suggest start with Reenens. Would be my tip.
Top tip. Very good.
Hopefully that's enough. Right. We have one more wine to taste.
Okay.
And then that's enough of that. So
Tofter
Up. So you'll know David and Jonas Tofter Up, hopefully, from the Orfica wines, the Monastrell,
Yes.
the Aurora, and the Rosé Sintonia.
That's right.
But this is their another one they do from the Ribera del Júcar, I think. Yeah, it is. Yeah, so outside Valencia, basically, a fairly small appellation, but high quality grapes that would generally and historically have been lost to the blend. Mm-hmm. The blend in inverted commas. But they've rescued this particular one out of that because it's too good to be lost within that. And here we are. So this, despite looking like a finished wine, is keeping me on my toes. This is actually a tank sample.
Okay.
Sometimes, we'll see because we need to approve all the labels and the barcodes and all the boring stuff. So they'll send it like a finished product. So Tempranillo.
Interesting. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
No, it's just very different. Which makes
sense. We're doing it absolutely the wrong way around here. Right. But I got too excited and opened Epilogue and Rasto and all these things. But that's fine. So Tempranillo, famous grape type from which region, Amos?
Spain.
Region?
Oh, Rioja.
There you go. Painful. Okay, so not that you want to emulate Rioja, but we've all had Rioja.
Yeah.
Right. So you'll know what it tastes like, hopefully. Again, more modern Rioja is richer, riper than it has historically been. 30 years ago, 20 years ago.
It's like cherry yogurt, almost, like to me.
You're a useful human to have in here.
Ah, thanks, Dave.
I get a perfume off it. I go straight into it. Potpourri, so dried flowers. Good.
Your toast are so good.
Yeah.
What they do.
So palate's quite red.
Yeah.
Quite raspy in a good way.
Like fresh, like
yeah.
Sort of...
So like a raspberry.
Yeah.
Cranberry. We're in that sort of world.
Like tart, sort of more tart red fruit.
Oh yeah, I stopped short of saying tart.
Yeah, because it's not. But it's that direction, isn't it?
Yeah. Raspberry, cranberry. It's not a fleshy strawberry, plum, that kind of thing. It's the sort of brighter, crunchier kind of red fruit. Has a bit of creaminess. So all red wine goes through. I don't want to be too geeky. Actually, maybe I'll just stop with that. Malolactic.
Winemaking process.
Just to give it some texture and some body and some
these are
creaminess.
Techniques that winemakers will do to add complexity, aren't they? Mm-hmm.
Right. Happens in almost all red wines.
Yeah.
And some whites. Anyway.
So you say this compares favourably to sort of Rioja or?
No, I think this is its own beast.
Yeah.
Some Rioja Tempranillo can be a little brighter, a little more simplistic, let's say, in a good way, because that's what it's supposed to be. This has that creaminess, the richness, the texture that some Rioja won't have at this sort of level anyway.
I think
I had a question.
Oh, I had a question. Go on then.
Why is Whispering Angel so expensive?
Okay, so my glamorous assistant has asked, why is Whispering Angel so expensive? So, well, I don't want to speak for Whispering Angel because we're not involved with them, obviously. There's a huge power there in terms of, the wine quality is good. Okay, so it's it wouldn't be the wine it is without the wine quality. There'll be the power of the brand behind it.
Yeah.
Supply and demand is, if we ever school economics, the demand is high and the price can reflect that. So that'll be a reflection of that. Whether I think it's worth it, I won't go on record there, but I'd sooner buy something else. Not saying that it's just not for me. It's not my kind of wine, unfortunately. But you'll do better to buy a delicious Provence from one of ours, like Julian, the Chateau Saint Hilaire wines. If you haven't seen those, new vintages coming. I'm going to see those in Germany quite soon, and because we're meeting them. But power of the brand would be my summary there. Hopefully that's suitable enough. All right. Any more questions? All right. So I think, we've tasted through everything, Amos.
Oh, wow. What a treat.
There's a few bits. I've got some wines bagged up there. I'll be doing some benchmarking. Hopefully that's the next session. Matt and I will be here tasting live again. To keep ourselves honest, make sure our wine quality is where we want it to be and our pricing structure is correct. I spend loads of time ordering in wines from the competition, whites and reds, and we will bag them up, taste them. Someone else will pour for us, and we taste blind to make sure that we're happy with the prices we set.
Wonderful.
So that'll be next week. Yes, boss. All right. Okay, that's it.
Thank you very much, Toby.
Oh,
Pleasure.
Lovely. Thanks, Amos. Cheers, guys.
Bye, everyone.